Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to show y'all what I feed my barrel horses. I would like to say that every horse is different, so it's taken a very long time for me to figure out what each one of my horses needs individually, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, so it takes a lot. So this, what I'm showing y'all for my horses, might not work for your horses. Definitely ask a vet if it's okay for them. Some horses cannot eat what I feed. Most of my horses, as you'll see, I feed a lot of oats. And a lot of horses cannot have oats like this because it will cause them to founder or to have laminitis. So it is a no for some horses. For mine, it works for them, so I continue to do it. But I'm telling y'all, I took nutrition classes in college and stuff from where I graduated from. Oats are very, very sugary. But before I show y'all what I'm gonna feed, I'm kind of gonna show y'all the night routine. I'm really trying to get used to this camera because I just got a new camera and it's awesome. So I'm having to figure it out and stuff. First thing I do for a night routine though is scoop all the horses' stalls. Today's a little bit different, I will say, because my horses are coming up pretty early just because we have a wedding to go to this afternoon, so I want to get everybody up. It's been a crazy couple weeks. Last weekend, my sister-in-law got married, Joe's sister, and then yesterday, Joe's friends got married, and then today, my cousins get married. So we have like back-to-back-to-back weddings. That's why y'all haven't seen me much. Also, you haven't seen me much because Monday through Friday of this week, me and my husband were at the beach enjoying our time. If you know, you know. If you have horses in scoop stalls, you probably know, but step one is always to pull back your hair. I've been taking my poop that I have scooped and putting it way behind the barn to the back side so it doesn't contribute to any more flies because we're having an issue here with the flies. I feel like I'm being a little bit awkward today, but it's because I'm not used to talking to my camera. I'm used to talking to my phone, so just bear with me, y'all. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'll figure out this whole thing and then we'll be back to normal throughout this week. Once every 2 to 3 weeks or so, I will add a whole bunch of pellets of bedding and shavings to their stalls. Probably every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks if I'm lucky, just because they need it, as y'all see. And we have red dust, dirt in Georgia, so you need something. One stall down, 3 more to go. Because it's been so rainy in Georgia too, I haven't been to a barrel race in a long time. Also, obviously, I've had a lot of weddings, so I haven't been to a barrel race. I'm literally like, do I even know how to run barrels anymore? This weekend coming up, I definitely have a barrel race though. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping the weather will do right for it. I haven't looked, but this week I'll spend time preparing for that and kind of focusing more on that because I was out of town last weekend. I was actually out of town last week, and this week just start of new. So I'm gonna be riding a lot this week and enjoying my time being off of school. Luckily, we got out of school like in the beginning of May, so I've had literally 2 weeks off so far, and it has been so nice. I feel like I'm more giving y'all a life update than anything else, but I just have not, like, I haven't filmed a YouTube video in such a long time, I feel like. No, it really hasn't been that long, but a lot has happened. I'm gonna have to go dump this and come back to do the other 2. Also, y'all, I just bought more shoe fly boots for the horses that don't have any. But look at Jazz. She's got on shoe fly boots. I hope y'all can see her. Anyway, she's got on 3. I don't know where the other one is. I've got to go look for it. For Blaze and Honey, I tried really cheap ones just to see if they would work. It was terrible. It was like the worst purchase I think I've ever made off of Amazon. And then whenever I went on TikTok, they're like TikTok viral fly boots because they're like $25 for a pack of 4. But they're $25 for a pack of 4 for a reason. They stink. So buy the shoe fly boots, y'all. Don't waste your time with the other kind. Okay, I'm about to fix the horse's feed. I know I already gave y'all an earlier disclaimer, but here's another one. This is not going to work for every horse. All of my horses need a little bit different, but this is what I personally do. You don't have to do this. I will say too, it changes. So like in the wintertime when there's not a lot of grass, obviously I have to supplement with forage. And then in the summertime, in the springtime, like right now, there's way more grass, so I'm not giving them as much hay. If they stay up in their stalls for storms, for whatever reason, like today I'm putting them up a little bit early, I'm gonna give them extra hay because they need something to munch on. Horses are constant grazers. They're grazing animals. A lot of people don't know this, but horses don't have gallbladders. Therefore, they secrete bile directly into their stomach and all of their whole processes, all of their GI tract. They secrete it into there. So they constantly need to be eating something to kind of buffer that going down, and that's how they get stomach ulcers if you don't constantly do that. So here's what I personally do. This right now is probably the least complicated it has ever been, but it's because I'm coming off of vacation, and I'll see how my horses do this week, maybe tweak it a little bit. When I do tweak their feed, what I'm talking about, I might add a supplement. I might take away one thing, add another feed. I just do it slowly. So if you want to start feeding your horse something different, you just slowly need to change that. So let's start. First off, this is a no-no in the horse world, but I do it, okay? Sweet feed is right here. I have 4 horses in this barn. I take about half a scoop of sweet feed and I sprinkle it on top of all their feed. Next up, in this container is Smart Edge. It is a low starch, it is a low sugar feed. It's for Honey. She does not do well with just oats because she gets very hot, very worked up. She sweats a lot. She is just not herself, so I know that this works good for her. But before I give this to her, I'm going to use a little bit of vitamin E and selenium for her. And I'm just going to give her a scoop of this. This is really great for horses who are running, who are working. And more towards the end of this week, I'm probably, once I start riding everybody again and getting back in the routine of things, I'll probably give this to more than just her. Probably everybody in this barn should be on this and probably will be on this by the end of the week. Honey's feed, I give her half a scoop of that, and that's all she gets. Right now my horses are kind of on the cut because there's so much green grass out there, and I catch them not even wanting to eat it because they're so full off of what I'm feeding them. So I'm kind of trying to wean them down a little bit from their feed because they don't need that much right now. Now for Jazz. Jazz gets 1 scoop of oats. That's it. She does really good with that, and that's what she was fed at my grandma's house. That's what she's fed here. I tried to give her a little bit more. She won't even eat more. 1 scoop is perfectly enough for her. For Blaze and Lee, I give them a scoop and a half of oats, but when I give them a half, I give them like, it's probably like a little bit less than what you would call a half, because I'm trying to kind of cut them down a little more on it as well. Like I said, right now, it's not very complicated. They're feeding just because when I'm on vacation and someone else is feeding the horses, I want it to be as simple as possible for them so they don't have to worry about it. So that's what I do. Also, I will say, oats are very good for your horses. A lot of times whenever you buy expensive feed, you might look and the majority of it is oats, and that's because oats are expensive. They're very good for your horses, but the problem with oats is the calcium phosphorus ratio is a little bit off, and you have to counterbalance that, and how you counterbalance that is with forage. So alfalfa is really good for that. I used to buy alfalfa and feed a little bit to my horses every single day. I don't really do that anymore just because A, it's really expensive here in Georgia. Nobody really grows it that much. There might be a few farmers, but nobody really grows that, and a bale is like $35 to $40 for a bale of alfalfa, and I have 4 horses. They would go through a bale in a day. So I can't really do that right now. If for some reason I saw more problems with it, I obviously would. I'm not saying that money's the issue, that I'm not going to buy what my horses need. Obviously I will, but that's the problem with oats. A lot of thoroughbred like race horses, they're just fed oats and alfalfa, so it's perfectly okay to do this for your horses. But like I said, the calcium phosphorus ratio, so you need to make sure you give adequate forage. But with my horses, grass is also really good for the calcium phosphorus ratio to make it better. This is what my horses get. I'm going to dump it in their stalls and then put them up. Honestly too, do your research before you start feeding anything. A lot of my horses I've had since they were weanlings, so I kind of know a lot about them and know how they function on certain feeds. Like Honey does bad with oats. I know that. I would never feed her oats or corn or anything like that. That's going to give her a surplus of energy and a lot of sugars. So my biggest tip about feeding is just know your horses, do your research, ask questions. But there used to be an actual website you could go to, kind of tell it what your horse does, what's its job, how old is it, everything. You plug all that in, it tells you what percentage to do. You plug in the feed you're giving it, it tells you how many pounds to feed it. Really accurately, you're supposed to be weighing your horse's feed. It's not out of the possibility for me right now that I'm not in school, but it definitely is when I am in school. And I just mainly look at my horses. If they're looking a little bit chubby, I'm probably going to cut them down a little bit. If the grasses are extremely green, probably going to cut them down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put up the horses, feed them. I'm going to give them a little bit of hay now, but later when I come home from the wedding, I'm going to give them more. Y'all know how he already got hurt one time really bad. Honey and Lee are in the other pasture, so I've got to let them go. Nah, don't you start. Hey! Obviously, all my horses would be fine out in the pasture, but last night after the wedding, we got home like at 10 p.m. and I put them up then, and they did fine, but they're a little bit more of a pain when it's dark outside to put them up. Fill up their waters, and while their waters are filling up, I'm going to show y'all how much hay I give them right now. I know each of my horses, I will say, so I know about how much they'll eat. Jazz eats less than everybody else. I don't know why, but she does. Lee is on a bit of a cut right now, or I'm trying to get Lee on a little bit of a cut because she is looking a little chubby to me. This is about the right amount, like a flake. I do round bells, so it's kind of harder for me to judge. Roscoe turns, y'all. I'm about to spray them all with fly spray. I normally don't do this in the afternoons. I normally just do this in the mornings, but since they're going to be in their stalls, obviously pooping and everything, I want to spray them to just keep the flies off the best I can. That's Roscoe for y'all. To be honest with y'all, I don't think fly spray works that good, but it's better than nothing. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I will be done with them. I'm going to come back later after the wedding and give them more hay, but then they will really be done for the night. But that is what I feed my horses and how I kind of prepare everything and all my afternoon chores. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!